ever imagined there would come a day where you would sit across the Prime Minister and have an interview with him?
I neither imagined, neither I planned. My deepest belief is that if your intention is pure, magic happens to you. When you meet Prime Minister Modi, when you are sitting with him and when you are talking to him, he is with you.
With the rise of the cancel culture, that is there right now, what kind of made you feel, oh my God, even this exists right now?
Anything which is negative, sensational, has titillation, has entertainment, gets embraced very fast. Fame, influence, money, everything is so temporary.
What are the memories that you remember from your conversations with Mr. Tata?
What a man. What a remarkable man. I asked him, Mr. Tata, now what's one wish that still remained that you want to achieve or do? He said, I never learned to speak.
What is the hardest part of being a leader?
Loneliness. But anyone who's happy has wasted their life, I feel, because they don't grow.
So of all the stories that you've covered till date, is there any story that still brings you those goosebumps? We just finished an amazing conversation with Shradha Sharma, who's the founder of YourStory. With her 16 plus years of experience, we had a deep conversation about entrepreneurship, mindset, what it truly takes for somebody to reach to the top despite the loneliness, despite the pain, and what are the challenges that entrepreneurs truly go through. Not just about the entrepreneurship and the mindset, we also spoke a lot about the spiritual side of her and how spirituality has helped her thrive despite all of the challenges that she's gone through. So we had different conversations about how Ratan Tata's mindset has shaped her and her conversations with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So enjoy the podcast. I'm sure you will love it. Make sure to make a lot of notes throughout the podcast because there will be certain answers that will be answers to the questions that you've been asking yourself for a really, really long time. So enjoy the podcast and I'll see you on the next one. Shraddha, thank you so much for coming here because you've truly been an inspiration, not for a lot of women, but also for me in the journey of starting something on my own.
Thank you so much, Gayathri. I'm very honored to be here, first and foremost. Today only I was watching a reel on your journey and it's very inspiring and it's good to see how you've embraced your journey and how you talk about and how you are such an authentic person. So first and foremost, it's an honor to be here.
So you've said so many stories through your platform. What is that one part of your story that's been so pivotal in your journey and growth that people generally don't know about?
That it is very hard. It is very hard to build content business. And it's very hard to build a business telling positive stories because nobody wants to listen, nobody wants to hear. These are boring. In our own lives, if you see anything which is good and positive, it's generally something that we discard very easily. Anything which is negative, sensational, has titillation,
yes,
has entertainment, gets embraced very fast.
Yeah.
So just staying true to something which I started 16 years now back, every day, Saturday, Sunday, every day, every month, every year, that has been hard and that has been pivotal and that has been just being focused to something for 16 years is something that I would say has shaped my journey.
So in the last 16 years, has there been a moment, at least once, that you felt like, I just want to give up?
No, there have been many moments. I'm sure everyone goes through that, I want to give up. But there have been just moments.
Okay.
You know, they have not been days. They have not been months. They have not been years. They have not been a full day. They've been just moments where those thoughts come, where you get very dejected. Sometimes you get very depressed. Sometimes you feel, oh my God, nobody's understanding. Nobody's seeing, or why is it so hard? Why is it so tough? So yes, I've had many, many moments like those. Somewhere the real purpose of telling the 2 lakh stories that we have told so far has kept one going. And honestly, I would have given it up and not done this because when I started, it was like, okay, let me do it for a year. And a year seemed like a very long time. Okay, 12 months, I'll stick it out and do it. And if it works, then I will see.
Right.
And it's been 16 years from those 12 months to now 16 years is just the privilege, just the privilege of listening to people, young people across the country trying to do something of their own, their dream, their hope, their aspiration, their uncertainty. I think it's the biggest blessing.
Ah, that's so true. And especially when you speak about leaving your stable job and starting something on your own, I remember the days where most of my most important decisions in my life were very irrational. As in, if you spoke to somebody and asked them, would this be a good decision for you to quit your job and do something, they would say a no. But I believe all those irrational decisions have led me to a point where I am today at this point of time. I want to ask you, what was running in your mind when you decided to leave that stable job and start something on your own?
uh, that's a very good question. And sometimes I think about the word stable, right? If you go deeper into the word stable, we are all looking for stability. We are all looking for certainty. But what is stable? What is certain? We pause and start thinking about it. Mera stable job hai. I'm getting a stable salary. There is certainty. I go to some place to work. Nothing is certain. Nothing is stable. And in my head, the stability that I was looking for, now that I think back, because that time I couldn't articulate, the stability that I was looking for was, it sounds very pompous today to say that, of being of service, of being, because I grew up serving my parents. I grew up, like अगर मैं कह सकती हूँ हिंदी में, पूरी श्रद्धा के साथ समर्पित थी to serve my parents, and that somewhere shaped my DNA, and I wanted to really serve. And I was good in communication, got into media, and somewhere just telling people's story was a calling that was there. And and so it didn't look like embracing uncertainty. It didn't look like leaving stability, because somewhere I was not stable till I got to what I wanted to do.
Wow. Okay. So in those days of instability when you were working, what was the drive or that fire on the inside that told you, like, no, now is the time, I'm going to leave and I'm going to start something? When did that happen?
Always, I started working because I had to pay my education loan. Right. Otherwise, during my master's only, I was clear that I wanted to do something of my own.
Okay.
And that's one good realization I've had, that, I cannot work under someone. I can't do 9 to 5. Somewhere that industrialization wala work model didn't work for me. It didn't. I always questioned that, why do we have to work 9 to 6? Why do we have to work 5 days? Why do we have to have an attendance? Why do we have to do things in a certain way? So there was always this thing that I had to do something of my own. There was always this thing that I wanted to help and be of service. And and then it just happened. Once I paid my loan, my mother had taken loan from SBI Bank for my master's. And once that was done, I started up.
Right. So I've also heard you speak about how when you joined college in the initial days, you were kind of made fun of for the accent that you had, right? Because you came from Bihar. So tell me, how did that make you feel as a young girl in the college when you were being made fun of for your accent, but you had big dreams? How did that make you feel?
As it would make any young girl feel, even today. I've always questioned this mindset that we have of herd mentality.
Okay.
If everyone is of same kind, walks, dresses, talks the same kind, then we flock together. It's like birds of same kind flock together. And sometimes when you are not the bird who has those, those similar appearances, then you're just left on the sideline. Yes. You're left alone. Yes. And it's not out of choice. It's just a human thing. Maybe we just are wired to be like that. And since early days, since my school days, I always felt as a loner, as an outsider, as not fitting in, always trying to fit in. And somewhere it manifested in a deep way in college, during college, because I went to one of the best colleges in the country. Everyone was very intelligent. I just thought that they were graced with intelligence, confidence, articulation, and everything was so perfect. And somewhere it just made me feel more of an outsider because I used to talk in a certain way. I was very Bihari, if I may say so. And still it surprises me that the way Biharis speak is ridiculed. And I went to Bihar, I went to some colleges in Bihar recently, and they were telling me that it's the same. It's the same, same ridicule that they're subjected to. Somewhere it's so important that I went through all those ridicule, as you would understand,
Yes.
because if I hadn't felt like an outsider, I hadn't felt rejected, I hadn't felt that I'm not fitting in, I hadn't felt I'm not good enough, I wouldn't have worked so hard.
Exactly. Exactly. So it all starts with a void, right? It starts with a void, and then the void becomes a purpose. Then we're going towards the purpose. How was your childhood, Shradha?
Tough.
Explain tough.
Childhood was tough. We grew up in Bihar, in Patna, and at that time, politically, it was a very unstable place. It was a very chaotic place, and very unsafe for women and girls. There was no social media, so you didn't get to hear about it. But it was like, I still remember my mother standing on the gate outside our house, waiting till we came back from school, so that the girls were not picked up or something happened to them, so they were back home. So that was one from a political standpoint, or from the societal standpoint. The second was, I grew up in a family of 4 daughters. We were 4 daughters, and the youngest was my brother, so there was this pursuit of a boy. So in a family of 4 girls in Bihar, it was always, we were looked down upon. So anyone who used to come to my house would tell my father, Sharma ji, 4 betiyan hain, inki shaadi karni hogi. And dowry and, liability was like a constant thing hanging around oneself. My mother was a very middle class woman who gave her life, hard work, like all mothers do. Her life was completely given to us, that we should go on and become independent and do something and make a life for ourselves. And so, yeah, that was growing up years.
What were your insecurities while growing up?
I used to worry about money a lot. Because there was constant fight at home for money.
Right.
That, arey, 4 beti, inke school, inke education, bacche. So there was constant tension about money at home. Somewhere it's good, because while growing up, I was very insecure about money. Ki paisa, I have to make my own money. I have to do my own thing. I have to get on my feet and all that. The good thing is that it also made me realize very early on that it creates unnecessary tension. Money creates unnecessary tension and stress and anxiety, which we can live without. My relationship with money is interesting, that while I value it, and it led to insecurity, that I became independent, started working very early on, but also at the same time, I'm disassociated in a way. Like, I'm not like, in anything in my life, I'm not anchored that I have to make money or I have to create wealth or things like that.
What is your belief system about money right now?
Money brings the leverage to create impact. For me, money gives you that independence. Money gives you that freedom to be what you want to do. For example, I'm very clear in my head since many years that I want to create or do something for burn patients in India, because there are not many things, not many facilities. We are very backward when it comes to burn treatment. So I really want to create education for young girls, and from Bihar and from places where it's tough for girls and it's still very unequal. So to do all that, I would require a lot of money. Okay. So yes, so I think money is that leverage to do something good that you want to do.
That's brilliant. But then you don't believe in using money for luxuries, and that is not an aspiration for you at this point of time.
Luxury is what? It just all disappears, no? Yeah, my luxury would be what? I like fabrics.
Yes.
So I wear salwar kurtas and dupattas. So whenever I go to different states of India, I like buying local fabrics and handmade fabrics. So yes, that's my only luxury. Otherwise, no. Somewhere, Gayathri, I'm not very attached to luxury, because I've seen everything is so temporary and everything just disappears. So yes.
I love how you speak about detachment, how everything is so temporary. Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What about the cosmos or the creation fascinates you the most?
That the cosmos and creation is within us. I truly believe that.
Wow. I have goosebumps while you're saying that. That's so true. And this entire term of manifestation, and I want to manifest this and that. And last year, this word was coined as one of the best words in usage. Though a lot of people seem to be talking about it right now, it's always been there in our culture and people have been speaking about that. What is your definition of manifestation?
Oh, I have a lot to say about that, but I'll keep it short. Manifestation, sometimes we think that we want something.
Yeah.
And that could be, we don't reflect deeply whether we want that or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we don't get. We think, oh, we are manifesting, we thought about it, we manifested, but it didn't happen. Somewhere manifestation happens in when you are at a very pure and peaceful place within you.
Absolutely.
So if you are at a very peaceful, pure place, then the ability to manifest becomes far sharper and things manifest. Second, I believe that manifestation, when it is not purely very selfish, but it involves more, and there is some level of generosity, then it manifests even more.
Yeah, that's so true. I love the statement that says, when you are of service to people, the universe is of service to you.
Absolutely.
And
I've seen that in my life.
Yeah, exactly. And also when you speak about coming from that pure space from within, that calm space from within, is when you're not desperate about the outcome, but you generally enjoy the process of getting there.
Yes.
Right? So in your initial days, did you have this destination addiction kind of a mindset? I want to get to this point. These are the milestones I want to reach to.
Actually not. I have been more of a vagabond. Somewhere, someone asked me, what's a word that you would use to describe yourself? And I thought that the word would be wanderer.
Okay.
Wanderer in chase of the meaning of life, a wanderer. I've wandered rather than planned anything. I've just wandered and let it be. Though in the last few years with pandemic, with the stress of running the company, I became very stressed, pressurized, anxious, and somewhere lost that mojo, lost the wanderer in me. And in the last 6 months, I've worked hard to just come back and, nurture that wanderer and that child in me, to just look back why I started and why I did what I did for last 16 years. And why I'm telling you this is that sometimes we think we know, we think we have everything clear, but sometimes just in running every day, we lose that.
Yeah.
And just nurturing that, and no one else is going to do that for you. No one else is going to do that for you. Just finding yourself again and again and again is a journey, because there's no destination that you have to go to. The destination, I would say, is the thing to find yourself again and again and again. And I think, so I'm a wanderer who is not looking at a destination. But if you ask me today, what excites me is, people say, Aham Brahmasmi, a complete understanding of that. If I'm able to do that, I would say that's the destination for me.
I love that, because I believe each one of us, for you, it's a different path. For me, it's a different path, but the path is all leading us to the same point of us realizing who we truly are. And I think that is the ultimate purpose of our lives. So in this journey of your ultimate purpose of your life, where are you at this point of time?
I'm like a baby. The interesting thing is that with the inner journey of finding the purpose and the path, or understanding life and death and everything, the more you go into it, the more you realize, oh my God, I'm like such a baby. Yes. Like in last few years, I've invested a lot in working on myself, on my spiritual journey, if I may say so. But the more I work, the more I realize that there's so much more to do. So I don't know if I can answer that question on where am I. I can only say I'm in a beautiful and a very peaceful place. And through your podcast, I want to say this to everyone, that please go through the darkest moments, the most painful moments, the hardest moments where you feel rejected by everyone, judged by everyone. You have to go through that pain, feel that pain, because that pain is going to push you towards actually understanding, what's your destination, what's your calling, what's your joy, and what's actually peace.
I mean, that's so true. Like, when you are in the darkness, right? Sometimes it's so difficult for you to see the blessings in the darkness. But when you've been through that enough number of times and you've survived through that, when you come onto the other side as a completely different person, your perspective changes. But was your mindset the same thing 15, 16 years ago?
I think I've been very blessed to have a lot of pain in life, Gayathri, since early days. Saw a lot of hardships, and that shapes, you don't get shaped overnight. And of course, you keep on building. Hindi mein word hai, I don't know what's the English word of it, pravritti.
Okay.
हम सबकी अपनी प्रवृत्ति होती है और उसको हम उससे दूर होते हैं या उसके पास जाते हैं.
Okay.
Somewhere when I was in school also, I remember I was in LTS, leadership training for service. I used to do a lot of service. And when I was in college, I remember I had done a study, worked and spent a lot of time in Najafgarh slum area with young girls, and did a project which I'm still, if you ask me, one of the things I'm very proud of, in terms of there were a lot of crime happening and how to resolve that and do things. So there's always been an inclination to do that. And when you think you are getting distracted, life just comes and gives you an immense amount of pain. And then you say that, okay, I have to go deeper and deeper and deeper into that. So yes, was I the same 15 years back? Hopefully, by God's grace, I'm becoming better.
Okay.
And I'm growing.
Okay.
In making an inward journey to become, I wouldn't say better because we are all very good. It's just I'm becoming more a person who's understanding herself more.
Okay. And how has you understanding yourself more impacted your business now?
The ability to detach. As entrepreneurs, one of the things that we don't even realize, and it happens, and this is like the Maya that happens to us, is that we say, oh, it's our baby, it's our business, it's our venture, we're living 24/7, we fall in love, it's everything that we live and do and die for. There's a lot of attachment that we create to what we are doing.
Unconscious attachment.
Unconscious. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious attachment. You're involved. Anything which has a lot of attachment will lead to pain. And somewhere, the ability to attach in the right, there's no right way, but ability to attach and ability to at the same time be completely detached is a journey I have made. And that is now reflecting in my business, where we are starting something very phenomenal. I'm very, very excited. It's like birthing a new baby, and hopefully with less attachment. And after 16 years, and it's the same goosebumps and same nervousness as 0 to 1 when I had started YourStory in 2008 September. So yeah, so hopefully one will do this in a different way. So it's an extension, it's a adjacency that one is building to YourStory, and hopefully one is doing it in a more detached way.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Right, with the rise of the cancel culture that is there right now, because everything is out there on social media, how do you find a balance between speaking things that truly matter to you, even though it is controversial, and the impact it could possibly have on your business?
Somewhere it's me expressing and not YourStory. So YourStory will have its own, it has its own podcast, it has its own channels, it has its own website, its own newsletter. So somewhere not imposing my view on YourStory, but having a different view where I can, I just spoke recently about prostitutes in India, right? And why is it that we are not looking at prostitutes? We admire movies. We watch all these. Which one? Sanjay Leela Bansali's movie that came, the series that came. Everyone was talking about it, dressing up like that. The songs became popular, but somewhere the subtext that around us are prostitutes and women who are not treated properly.
Right.
And what are we, besides watching the web series, what more can we do? Can we all in some way do something about it? Now, that's my point of view. I want to do something about it.
Right.
Now, I wouldn't necessarily express that on your story, but I'm just doing it through my own social media.
So with respect to prostitutes and prostitution and what they go through, what kind of moved you the most in their journey?
In anyone's journey, when you don't, as a human being, if we are not free, the freedom over our body, because the body doesn't stay, but till we are alive, it's our body, we are associated to the body, and not having freedom over your body, over your own soul, over your own emotion, over your own dignity as a person, as a woman, it not just moves me, it makes me very ashamed.
When you had the conversations with them, what kind of made you feel, oh my God, even this exists right now?
No, it exists all over. Like if you go to many streets at night, talk to many women, and I do. Recently, I spoke to someone in Delhi. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that this is happening every day in our lives. And okay, it could be a decision, it could be a choice or not choice, it could be circumstances or not. But somewhere as society, how are we going beyond the surface of conversation to ensure that there is some percentage of difference in the lives of these women who are discarded and not even considered as the good women or women to be around?
Is there any specific story that shattered your heart altogether?
No, I have not done many stories right now. I will be doing that. So I've not done the stories, but I will be bringing those stories out very soon.
Right. So of all the stories that you've covered till date, is there any story that still brings you those goosebumps?
Many. I get asked this question many a time. So one, of course, I always talk about the different interactions I had with Mr. Tata, and I could talk about that. But a story that stays with me is that a woman who was constantly calling me, like non-stop, and I was like, listen, I'll call you back. She said, no, I want to talk to you. And I gave her the number of many people in my team. And she said to everyone, she was like, no, I only have to talk to Shradha. I want to talk to her. And I was like thinking, why is she being so crazy and chasing me? And yes, and I respect that also in entrepreneurs because we have to chase. She said that you have to listen to my story and you have to tell my story. And I was like, yeah, okay, so tell me. I found her little dominating, pushing and rude, and those prejudices and those judgments I had made in my mind already. And she said that, whenever I go to my building in my apartment, kids who are playing and happy and jovial and everything, they start throwing stones at me and they said, bhoot aa gayi, bhootni aa gayi. And some of them start crying, some of them start throwing stones and they run away here and there. And I want other women to not experience something like this. So she was an acid attack survivor.
Okay.
And her face was completely gone. And she had created an NGO, a startup, if I may say so, which was actually giving employment to people like her.
Wow.
So that they could work. Now, is that any less than a unicorn? I wonder. Yeah. And it doesn't get that attention. And for her, she said, it's not just about me, it's about so many others. And we should be recognized. And this is the story you should tell. So yes, that story after so many years still stays in my mind. Right. And second is the ability to, the humility always to if someone is even talking to you rudely, or someone is talking to you, is being very dismissive to you, you don't know the pain that they are carrying. So just to be humble and to listen.
Right, right. So when you spoke about Mr. Tata, I mean, what are the memories that you remember from your conversations with him?
Mr. Tata has left a lasting impact on me. I had the privilege of meeting him many a times, going to his house, spending time with him. So many things about him have left deep impact. Like the foremost would be humility. I always say, Gayathri, when we look at people from distance, we really like them and we admire them. And when we see great posts and reels, we just get so enamored.
Yes.
But when you meet a person closely, you get to spend time with them, know them up close. When the light and camera is off, that's when you get to know the person.
Right.
And I got to know him when the light and the camera and everything was off. And that time you understood that what a man, what a remarkable man, how he genuinely thought about everyone. And I've done so many posts which have got millions and millions of views on Mr. Tata. Like one of the things that I've spoken about is that I asked him, like, you're interviewing me. I asked him, Mr. Tata, now what's one wish? I was at his home, that what's one wish that still remains that you want to achieve or do and something. Then he said, one hobby I want to pursue is learn this music. So I said, yeah, now you can do it. And he has such a beautiful, nice, amazing house, simple, this gorgeous place where you can do anything it feels like, I said, why, you can do it. He said, no, but the instrument is of so many lakhs. And I started laughing. I said, yes. So he said, it's very expensive. I said, Mr. Tata, please don't pull legs of people like us, middle class people. We think about, it's lakhs mein and all that. For you, like, it's nothing, right? Like, and you saying it's expensive. He said something that stayed with me, and it will probably stay with me forever. He said that while I was growing up as a child, I never learned to spend money on myself. I saw everyone around me caring for the other, spending on the other. And that habit as a young person, as a youth, I never developed that habit to first spend on myself. And now at this age, how will I spend on myself? Well, I just don't know. Like, if there is some money, I would give it to someone, do something for the other. And just reminded me of our parents and grandparents and, people whom we've seen. Even if they have little money, they'll spend it on us, no? Like, I still remember going from Patna by train to Delhi by school. My mother will have those 200, 300 rupees or wo mode ke haath mein. I can cry to that. Aise rakhegi. And as you grow old, then you realize ki ye to 200, 300 hai. But that to me is generosity. That to me is India. That to me is giving. That to me is home. And that is, that's one of the things, many things I can go on about Mr. Tata that stays with me.
Right. And when you quit, and after 11 years, you had the opportunity to interview the Prime Minister of the country. Did you ever imagine there would come a day where you would sit across the Prime Minister and have an interview with him?
Gayathri, the good thing is, that I neither imagined, neither I planned, neither I had a path. So when you are a wanderer and you're wandering in life, very open to magic happening, manifestation happening, very open to pain also happening, everything happening, then this looks like a good serendipity that also happened, right? Yeah. And somewhere, my deepest belief is that if your intention is pure, if you're genuinely well-intentioned, your heart is open, your heart is, of course, wanting something for yourself, for your business, for your family, all that is all right. But as your heart is open and giving and nurturing, magic happens to you. And whatever you want will happen. Yes, when I met someone I thought I should interview, and God should be kind enough to get me the interview. I've worked hard. I've interviewed so many people. Your Story is a phenomenal platform. It has been of service, and this opportunity should happen to me.
No?
And मुझे कभी नहीं लगा कि मैं किसी से कम हूँ. And neither am I a journalist, neither am I a podcaster. There's nothing I somehow feel that there's nothing to, like, there was nothing except the belief that this should happen because I've worked very hard and given voice to so many people. And if God and everything aligns, it will happen. And it happened. It happened. And then still I feel that, and this was way early.
Yes.
Way, way early.
Yes.
This was probably one of his first digital interviews.
Yes.
So yes.
What is that you remember from that interview?
When you meet Prime Minister Modi, when you are sitting with him and when you are talking to him, he is with you. Mm. So when you are with him, he's with you. He is not getting distracted. He's not looking at his phone. He's not pretending to listen to you. He's so invested in you. He looks at you eye to eye. He's done the homework. His team would have prepared him. But he is so humbly present with you, the presence. Mm. And to me, that was it seems like a very small thing, but it's a very big life lesson. That when you are with someone, you are with someone. Because many a times we meet big people, they're meeting you just for the sake of it. You see their eyes are not into you. You see that they are waiting for this to get over. It's just for the sake of it. To everyone, when he's meeting, he makes them feel that you're important, you are seen, you are heard. And that to me is a very outstanding leadership trait, which somehow it surprises me. Most amazing leaders I meet miss it, don't have it.
Okay. So when we speak about the leadership skills, like I'm sure you've met a lot of people and you've adapted different leadership styles. What is that one leadership style that you stand by?
Being very open. Being very open and being transparent. People can see through the bullshit.
That's so true.
I just think that if I say, oh, listen, I really love everyone, I'm just like, oh, not that person. Or I believe in women's equality, or I believe in a fair play. And if you're not that person, however much you will talk, it will not work. And you'll see things not changing.
Right.
So for me, openness, transparency, because I would expect that from a leader.
Right.
I would expect from a leader to be, even it's a bad news, it's a shit news, it's a good news, it's anything, you tell me, you trust me. That to me is the core leadership trait that I really admire, and I wish all of us live with that.
What is the hardest part of being a leader?
Loneliness.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
This is also something I've learned along the way. When the tides are good, everyone will cheer and clap you. When it becomes hard, then all the lens is on you, right? Like, so, and not getting affected by it is also a leadership trait, I would say. But as leaders, all said and done, assuming that we are all equals when you are in a leadership role, could be your naivety also.
Okay.
As a leader. So I'll give an example. As a father at home, or as a father at home, or as a mother at home, thinking that you're equal to your child or to equal to everyone. Yes, while you're equal, you're transparent, you're open, and everyone is like, going out to the same place to have dinner, have the same food. Everything is equal, but at the same time, it's not equal because your role as a father is to fend and get money, or your role as a mother is to nurture or to take care. And there are certain expectations which people at home have from you, right? So when you fail sometimes on that, or when you don't live up to what the expectations of people at home have with you, or the world outside has with you. So everyone has certain expectations. When you are a leader from you, everyone has an expectation. Everyone has thinking and a point of view on how you should be operating, what you should be doing, how you should be running your business and everything. And if you don't live up to people's expectation, then it could be very lonely.
Okay.
And my only submission, having made that journey, is it's very unfair also on leaders to expect the world not to have a point of view. And different people not to have different point of view. Right. So let everyone have different point of view. You be centered, you be grounded, you be anchoring on what you believe in. And that to me is the most phenomenal journey every leader has to make.
Do you feel lonely up there?
Not anymore.
Okay. What made you move from feeling lonely to where you are at right now?
I'm not... See, as a child only, I was a loner. So there is a trait in me. I'm always a loner. I could be with 100 people. I'm very social, very loving. I feel I'm very loving and caring, but I could also be very detached and very alone in my head. It's like in my head, I'm always alone, right? So it goes through phases, but today I feel I'm with everyone. I'm with everyone. Everyone is with me. And that journey has come from deeply embracing spirituality, from going for Vipassana, from going deep in Advaita Vedanta, from doing Nam Jap now every day. That somewhere has helped me remove my own cobwebs, my own prejudices, my own loneliness, and be more present.
Talk to me about your experience in Vipassana.
That was the best life-changing experience. Best life-changing. I can only hope that everyone gets a chance to go for Vipassana. It changed my life. It made me lighter. I was carrying so much of pain. I was carrying so much of victim mindset, so much of angst, so much of tears, and all that. It helped me take all those and keep it aside.
When did you do Vipassana?
Now it's 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So when you were sitting through the journey, like first 4 days is still okay, but after 4 days, a lot of things start to come up. What came up for you majorly?
Pain. Why has life been so hard?
Okay. And how did you deal with that?
The answer also comes that life has not been so hard. Life is actually not hard. It is actually light. And all that had happened in my life had to happen.
Shradha, I agree with you. And I also teach people the same thing. Every single thing that has happened to you in your life is for the highest good. But then when people are going through shit, it's very difficult for them to understand this concept and internalize it. After you've done this work for a really long period of time, then it becomes a part of you. You start to view world from that lens. But for people who are going through this and who only have an intellectual understanding of everything in the world is happening for a highest good, what would your recommendation be for them to internalize that?
Vipassana. Mera to, if I had one wish, one, birthday gift I could give to people whom I know. One, like I've made so many people go for Vipassana, and just by being the change, like they saw the change in me becoming lighter, me becoming, whatever changes they saw, a lot of people have gone, unless you do it as a practice, nothing will work.
Yes.
All these are talks. Like for me also, if someone had said 7-8 years back anything, I would have either got hurt, or I would have been so upset, or oh, this one doesn't understand me, or all those kind of stuff. Today, all I can say and be here and be present and talk all this because I practiced it. Today morning, like I've been traveling last 10 days, different places. I go back, get up very early and meditate. Like come what may, my body sometimes is so tired, just can't get up. But still, I will meditate because I know my day would be so beautiful. And today, once you start seeing the magic of it, and meditation becomes a very hard word, tough word, and meditation mere liye nahi hai, people say. So I would say, go for Vipassana. Just give it a shot once. And the second thing, which is working like magic for me right now, is Nam Jap.
Okay. What is that?
Nam jap. So meditation, Vipassana says that observe your sensations and be present with it. And the more you observe, the more you remove your sankaras and past patterns and everything. Nam jap is similar, except that instead of just being quiet and observing your sensations, which is through breath, this is also same with breath, but in that every breath you say Radha, 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 Ram, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So any God, it could be any faith, anything. So in your mind, you just keep japoing the Naam with every breath. So like I'm sitting with you when you are asking me the question. So like I'm quiet, but then I will do Naam Jap. Like I'll keep doing Naam Jap. So it is very.
So what does it do? It releases all of the
everything. I follow someone now, Maharaj Premanand ji.
Yes.
He's the rock star. He's like super cool. I listen to him every day. And it's very surprising, Gayathri. I used to make fun of Babajis and this and that and all that. And Vipassana spoke to me because it's intellectual, it's logical. Vipassana is very, very logical.
Yes.
It says that, and then you can see the effect of it. Premanandji Maharaj has exposed all my shortcomings to me and all my shallowness to me. Because when we make statements like this, that, oh, Bhakti Marg doesn't work for me, this doesn't work for me, oh, I don't get it. I just think that it's out of arrogance and non-knowledge. Once you go deep and once you get more and more deep into this, you realize everything is so entwined. You can't have Gyan Marg without Bhakti Marg.
Yes.
You can't have Raj Yoga without Karma Yoga. So everything is so interconnected, and I'm so blessed that we have someone like Premanandji Maharaj in this country. He is the game changer. He's changing my life. I'm going through one of the emotionally a tough phase in my life, and I'm surprised that how I show up and genuinely how I can laugh at this phase of my life, and it is only because of him, and it's only because of Naam Jap. And I look forward to going to Vrindavan and meeting him. I'm so thankful that he's here in our country at this time.
That's lovely. So whenever this resistance or pain comes up at this point of time, right? So there is a level of understanding that this pain had to come right now because some release is happening on the inside. But then when you're going through the pain, how do you process it right now?
Naam Jap.
Okay.
Radha, 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 Radha. And once you practiced enough, like for me now it's 3-4 years, you actually start seeing, so no one has to tell you, you actually start seeing that it is very temporary.
Everything
is very temporary. So earlier, if you would have told me it's temporary, I would have, "Nahi, mera dukh hai. How do you know it's temporary?
Exactly.
I am suffering. I'm in so much of pain."
Yes.
But today, by practice, you know that right now for 5 minutes, I would be feeling this deep pain. Right now, I will go and eat some nice idli dosa. I'll be very happy. And then after 5 minutes, again, this thing. But I don't want to trivialize it like that also. The deepest of pain is also temporary.
Yes.
And the pain it causes you at this moment, it will not cause you the same pain. And I can challenge anyone on that who is suffering, who is really going through the most difficult phase of their lives. Do Naam Jap, do Vipassana, and then practice it for a month, and then tell me if you're feeling the same pain.
Shradha, I love how you speak about everything is temporary, it's all Maya, it's all illusion. But I want to understand, how do you maintain a balance in running behind something with a lot of passion and yet understanding everything is temporary?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a beautiful question. And that's what I said, to be attached and to be detached. That's the journey. To me, I know today I'm doing YourStory because I've done it for 16 years. I've told 2 lakh stories. God has been kind to give me this privilege and opportunity to do that. Yes, today it's a duty. I have team members, people who've been with me for many years. YourStory should be in a place where it runs amazingly and people go on to do well, right, in the company. And so that's a duty which I will fulfill. And I am on that path, hopefully soon. So I see that as a service, as a duty. And whatever today, if I do a podcast or, like you are doing, while you would love to have millions of people watch this, but there would be a deep sense of purpose, right? The impact that it can create. It could help some Gayathri from 10 years back and a Shradha from 20 years back and all that kind of stuff, right? So today I'm very clear what my purpose is. Today I'm very clear what gives me happiness. Gayatri, I always say this, all the money in the world could not save my mother, right? Like when she passed away, like everything, we did everything possible just to save her, to give her one more day. And I saw how all the money which one wants to create and earn and make could not give her one more breath, right? And when you go through that, then what are we chasing? And the second, I have seen the deepest of relationship, people who love you the closest. When they forget you, then they forget you. Then it's not that they are going to be hankering, whom we think, अरे इसके बिना तो हम मर जाएंगे. 2 साल हो गया तो वो तो कहीं और मर रहे हैं और हम कहीं और मर रहे हैं. So all these things, then what is it that we are hankering over? This age, this youth, this looking good. Like looking good, I started 16 years back. I was so young, gave my life to this. Yes, today one has to be fit, one is amazing. But will I look like this? Will I be this? When I look at Shradha of 16 years back, sometimes I have tears in my eyes that I gave so much of my life working like a donkey, working so hard, telling everyone's story, just being there for everyone. Why was I not kind to myself, right? If you start asking these first principle questions about life, about yourself, then attachment, I wouldn't say that one is completely detached. It's difficult to be detached. I want to have very good coffee. I want to travel properly and all those things. But then you're not holding to things.
Do you think pain is necessary for the evolution of the soul?
Pain is absolutely mandatory to be the person you are meant to be. We all, I feel, I don't think so it's random that we take birth and randomly we die. All of us have something, some reason to be here. And if we don't go through pain, we will not be who we were meant to be and why we came to this place. So yes, for the evolution of the soul, for us being better people, for us living life and moments properly and not wasting it. Anyone who's happy has wasted their life, I feel, because they don't grow. And I wonder if they're happy. You can't be truly happy, Gayathri, until unless you have truly experienced sadness. You can't be truly blissful until unless you have gone through pain.
Yeah.
How will you understand what is true joy, true purpose, true happiness, until unless you've suffered?
Yeah. So when you actually make a decision right now, I mean, from what you've been speaking, I do understand there's a deeper level of spiritual understanding and a spiritual growth that you're going through.
I'm baby. I told you, I'm like a baby.
It doesn't seem so from the way you're looking at life and your perspectives about life. But what I would like to understand is when you're making a decision, how do you know if it is coming from a space of your ego or if it is coming from a space of your purpose?
I always ask this question to myself. Because the word I also, usage of it, I sometimes question that also. If in a conversation, if I'm saying I, is it coming from a place of getting the conversation forward, being invested in the conversation, or is it coming from I did this, or I am doing this, or I am thinking that? So there's no answer. The only way to go through this or navigate this, if it is coming from a place of ego or it's coming from a place of purpose, is to constantly ask yourself that question. Where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? And the more you ask the question, where is it coming from? What is motivating me? What is driving me right now? You become cleaner. Cleaner and cleaner and cleaner.
So the next thing I want to ask you is, what is that one thing about entrepreneurship people don't talk about, but they've constantly been romanticizing this entire hustle culture?
That it's very lonely, it's very dark, and you lose a lot along the way.
Okay. What have you lost?
In between, I would say I lost who I was. I wanted to prove. We get into a treadmill. It's like likes. When you post something, you want likes.
Yeah.
How many likes? And that's a very shallow and external benchmark, which starts reflecting on who we are. Like,
Right.
oh my God, I didn't get this like.
Yes.
And though the algorithm is at play, there's so many things at play, but then it becomes your own, this thing. I would say, just to prove that your story kind of model can run for last 16 years, it can survive, it can be profitable. Somewhere in that passionate drive to be, to do, to make that happen, I lost a lot of moments. I lost being present. I lost having fun. I became very hardworking monkey. I don't know, I shouldn't say donkey, monkey. But I became a very hardworking, boring, irritating, psycho person, right?
Okay.
Because you're trying to prove. So that's what I've been saying. The journey to try to prove is a zero-sum game. Journey to try to prove, you will never win, ever, ever. And that is what I think a lot of entrepreneurs miss on. Or because they try to prove, I can raise money. They try to prove to their team, I can do this, we can pull this off. They try to prove that we can grow at this scale. They try to prove that we are actually doing very well, or they try to prove that we will be able to create a big market. So you're always trying. So while you do that, the question to ask is, are you losing who you are, your joy, your purpose, your fun, your magic, your mojo, your things other than work? Do you forget all those? Are you missing on those things? I think for many years I did not do that. I just worked.
So where do you think this need to prove is coming from?
Need to prove, all of us have. No, school children only we are taught with our grading system. Most of us have to get A plus or A, B, C. So in schools only we are taught to be, we are taught to prove, this need to prove, because if you get A, then you are in the top, at the top of your class. If you're getting C, D, then you're not good enough. So we're always trying to prove. That gets formed in our childhood, in our formative years. And then through life, we are trying to prove, oh, which college did you go to? Which MBA, Ivy League did you go to? Who's your friend circle? What job did you get? What salary do you get? If you became an entrepreneur startup, who funded you? So there's always this need to prove, because there's always these questions. And see what media also celebrates, right? This, I read for the longest time, this paycheck out of this campus. Then everyone else will have the need to prove, no, that I also get good money.
Yes. So when you take a look at social media, like you said, right? Success is glorified, and the way success is kind of equated to is with respect to money. How much funding have you gotten? What money are you making? Literally no other element or aspect of life is kind of equated to success. What is your definition of success?
Oh, I have a very different definition of
What
success.
is it?
If you get up in the morning excited about the day, and if you sleep in the night tired, but again very grateful about the day, then you are very successful. And I wouldn't say in 365 days, you have to have it for 365 days. But in 365 days, if you can do that for 260, 270 days, great. Then you are very, very successful. Optimistic in the morning about the day with that zing that, okay, let's conquer. And at night, extremely grateful for what happened through the day.
Right. Shradha, you were speaking about how you had to kind of let go of your mojo and how you became a little bit of a different person in your journey. But do you think if you had not done all of that, you wouldn't be where you are right now?
That's what I said. That true, Gayathri. All those were required. हमारी प्रवृत्ति पे हम निखर के आते हैं, वो जो
Right.
मैंने कहा, it's important. I wouldn't want anything very different than what I went through. Somewhere that nourishment, that kindness, that awareness to be kind to oneself is something I would do differently if I had to redo. And I would tell, and I'm using this platform to say the question we need to really, really ask is, are we being kind to ourselves? And I'm not saying, are we being selfish to ourselves, or
Right.
are we taking care of our needs, or are we thinking, putting ourselves first? I think that we are doing very well, all of us. But are we genuinely being kind to ourselves?
Right.
And that's a very deep question that we need to ask.
Right. So when we ask the question of are we being kind to ourselves, and when we're trying to juggle between multiple things in life, what I want to understand is, how do you view work-life balance, and has it changed over time?
My God, you're going to put me in controversy for this, because for me, I don't see work, life, and balance
Yes.
or anything differently.
Yes.
Like I could be very, and maybe it's also the virtue of, by the virtue of what I do. Like just listening to people's story, helping, being of service. Like it is not a 9 to 5 thing, no?
Yes.
So I enjoy the work, and the work is so life, so meaningful, so purposeful. So it doesn't even feel, yes, it's exhausting sometimes because one is traveling, doing so much, but there's no balance I'm looking for, because I'm balanced internally. Work doesn't have to, work or holiday don't balance me. I am balanced within myself. My meditation, my prayers, my naam jap, they balance me. And then I show up for my work better. I show up to people around me better. And hopefully a balanced me presents a balanced world for me.
I love that, because over the last few years, my understanding of work-life balance has changed. Because now sometimes if the work demands, we work for 15, 16 hours. It doesn't feel like 15, 16 hours because we love what we do.
Yeah.
But I do understand, for me to expect the same thing from everybody around me may not be the right thing at this point of time. But as a person, do I enjoy it right now? I do. But will I enjoy it after 5 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
And who knows, Gayathri, then you would find something else.
Yes.
Which would excite you.
Yes.
And because the same thing evolves, that keeps on evolving, no?
Right, right. And you were speaking to me about Advaita. I want to understand, what is your definition of Advaita?
Aham Brahmasmi.
Right.
That non-duality. And Vipassana, Naam Jap, everything gets you to that place that I am my reality. To me, if I had to say on an everyday basis, everything that is happening to me, around me, is my reality manifesting to me. The good, the bad, the ugly.
Right.
And there is no outside.
Right. So in this reality manifesting to you, how much of that do you feel is karmic, and how much of that do you feel is coming from a point of free will?
The more I'm living life, a lot of life has happened is karmic and prarabdha karma, I would say. From past, you know about prarabdha
Yes,
karma,
I do.
right?
Yes.
So a lot is that. Free will is the ability to laugh, the ability to enjoy, the ability to not fret over things, the ability to get up and be excited, and the ability to be at ease is our free will.
Right, right. It's beautiful. So with social media taking over and a lot of young children being out there, and because they don't understand things so well as yet, they're kind of getting carried away with social media, constantly seeking that validation. How do you think it's having an impact on their mindset at this point of time?
Social media, while it has been very good, has done us a lot of damage too. And for young kids, they are so impressionable. I wonder if when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, I had social media, what it would have done to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the question we all need to ask, because it's one-upmanship. Like I post something with my friends, then everyone, so it's creating a place where we are always constantly not feeling fulfilled. We are always feeling a lack. We are always feeling less. And that for kids could be extremely pressurizing, extremely demotivating. So while there are a lot of pluses about it, about social media bringing the world closer and all that, I think this is also one aspect of social media that we can't ignore. And I would say that it's the responsibility of people around youngsters, be it the family, be it the schools, colleges, who have to, and I don't know what one is doing in that direction, so that people and youngsters feel complete and not in comparison.
So when they feel complete on the inside, there is no need for anything on the outside to fill the void that they feel.
You know, there's an amazing person, Swami Shanta Atmananda ji of Ramakrishna Mission, and I had interviewed him. It's one of the, that interview left me so inspired. One of the things he said, that in our Indian education system, earlier we used to have.
Yes.
So he said, we learn physical education, we learn mental education, buddhi bal, bahu bal, but most important than buddhi bal and bahu bal is atma bal, right? Is the strength of the soul, the strength, inner strength, which should be value-based education, which should be taught in schools, so that as children, we develop that strength, that we are okay, we are all right, to question, to question. Like there was a very interesting question. He said that, your grandmother is unwell and you have to go to your best friend's birthday party. What will you do? Will you sit next to your grandmother or will you go for the birthday party? So just thinking those things, creating that strength in your soul. And I was just saying that every school should have that value-based education.
Right.
That's where the effects of social media, the effects of outside will be less. And Ramakrishna Mission is doing a fantastic job in spreading that.
Right, that's true. When you speak about values, I want to ask you this. Has there been any opportunity in the past which you have kind of declined that would have probably given your story a huge growth because it did not align with your values?
Oh, many.
Yeah?
Many a time. And I've also not done many a things which I could have, would have given us quick money or cash or whatever. Haven't.
Do you regret that?
Absolutely not. Today, I can't sit with you after 16 years and say that I value openness, transparency, and I am very authentic and I enjoy life if I had something to hide in my closet and I had compromised on my value. You can see through people who compromise on value. I'm very proud that I haven't.
Right. And also, when you take a look at entrepreneurs, do you feel like everybody should be going around building huge businesses, or is there also joy in building small, sustainable
Small is beautiful.
Okay.
Small is very beautiful.
Okay.
I think there should be a word for people building small, sustainable, profitable business. I hate the word unicorn. I'm jealous of the word unicorn. हमने रगड़ा नहीं है क्या 16 साल? हम भी मेहनत कर रहे हैं. हमने इम्पैक्ट नहीं क्रिएट किया है. हमने नहीं काम किया. तो हम क्यों पर्दे के पीछे रहें और छुपे हुए रहें और शर्म में रहें और हम क्यों नहीं सेलिब्रेट होता है? Why don't we come on the front page of newspapers and awards and everything? And I'm just talking by hum, not just me. I'm talking about millions of businesses who create employment. Even if you're employing 100 people, even if you're employing 10 people, we have to celebrate and not create this caste system or class system of, oh, so well funded and this and that, because impact should matter, not the value which you are creating by raising money matter.
Right. So the current VC funding culture is often criticized for emphasizing that fast and rapid growth that is kind of unsustainable, right? Do you think this bubble is going to burst and people are going to get back to being bootstrapped again and understand the fundamentals of business?
Gayathri, the bubble has already burst globally and in India too. Last 2 years, 3 years have been tough for the startup ecosystem. Very, very tough. We have seen a lot of our celebrated heroes come down. Unicorns have been under question. Some of the companies which had such crazy stories that those are being questioned. The growth overall is being questioned because you can't hype. You can't make some people eat hormones to build muscles.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? But you stop eating the hormones, the muscles will go.
Yes.
And while you're eating the hormones, it will damage your heart, your arteries and all that too. Similarly, if you're over pumping money to show extra growth metrics and all that, that's not sustainable. That's not lasting. And we're seeing that. So we don't have to wait for another few years. We're just seeing that in front of us. And right now, I believe it's the most sane time in the country to start up, to build business, to get respected for the right reasons. I'm here in Chennai, and Gayathri, let me tell you about these guys, Prabhu, Madhu, and Muthu from M2P. Such grounded, they have 800 million valuation venture. They are employing 1,000 people. Now their banking tech platform is across the world. They are taking banking tech from here, from Chennai to across the world. You meet them, they are so grounded, so humble, so many women working in their office. Now those are the guys who need to be celebrated, and there are so many of them.
Okay. That's amazing. And do you feel in all of this chase behind success, are we actually progressing as a society, or is there something that is wrong with the society, the way it is moving ahead?
See, we are progressing as a society. Of course, it has its own challenges. Climate is a challenge. We've still not solved for cancer and deep health issues. There are a lot of challenges. Of course, there are a lot of challenges. But overall, net, we've progressed so much as a society. We have progressed, and I really feel this is the best age. See, we had to be a little economically stable also as a country, right? We are a very young country. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, but we're a young country. We come from a spiritually rich heritage. If India has to give something to the world, I would say we shouldn't say we are going to give Bitcoin and we have to give this and that. If India has to give something to the world, it is the spiritual capital. We are talking about this capital, that capital. It is the spiritual, cultural capital, आध्यात्मिकता. हम पूरी दुनिया को दे सकते हैं क्योंकि हम कम में, we come from a country where our grandfathers, if you see, they were not people with luxury, but they were healthy, they were fit, they were strong people, they had inner strength, and we come from that lineage, from that heritage, and embracing that, giving to that world is going to be our story, and that's what we owe to the world.
That's true. That's very, very true. So you being a journalist, you do understand the responsibility of a journalist in taking the right information to the people. How much of that responsibility do you see in filmmakers these days?
First, I would say I'm not a journalist.
Okay.
I've come under so much of question around this that, oh, you're a journalist and this and that. I feel I'm a humanist. I feel I'm an enabler. Okay. And that's what I've done in the last 16 years for people across. And okay. The medium has been digital through stories and everything. Movies also, if you see, today, there are a lot of you are in Chennai. Chennai is killing it with good quality movies also, with so much of story and learning and genuineness. So we had dark age of movies and regressive and very bad movies, and still we see some of them and they become very, very popular.
Exactly.
And misogynist is the word. Yes, they are there, but I don't look at that. What I'm looking at is net. If you see, for one or two or few of those movies doing very well, let's not forget many of those kind of movies are flopping. Right? Because people are not watching those movies. Right. And many very high quality movies with deep storyline and something for society are doing very, very well, which they wouldn't have done a few years back.
Right.
So overall, India's storytelling and movie industry, and thanks to web, this Netflix and OTTs and all that have also come, has changed for the better.
Right.
And I'm very hopeful that it will only get better.
Right. So also the next thing is when it comes to women, right? We are expected, in order for us to be bosses, we are expected to be a little aggressive, a little bossy. Do you think that kind of makes us a little masculine in the process?
We, as women, we are, everyone expects, as I, as a leader, everyone expects, like I said, everyone has a point of view. On women also, everyone has a point of view. Do this, do that, do this, do that, be masculine, be this, that, and all that. I would just tell to every woman that don't listen to anyone. Just don't listen to anyone. You, as women, are born with such amazing beauty within you that listen to your own self. And for women, let me tell you, Gayatri, for women, for us, the biggest journey we have to make is to listen to ourselves, because we are such nice people. We are good people. We are generous. We have a womb which is nurturing, which gives birth. So for us, we are generally wired to be nurturers. And in that process, we also listen, we also take in a lot, we absorb a lot. So for women leaders, to any woman, to any young girl, I would say the biggest journey you have to make, and we have to make, and all of us have to make, is start listening to your own self. Don't listen to the world. We have wasted so many years listening to nonsense. Women hate women. Women don't support women. Women have to be masculine. Oh, look at her. She's so aggressive. Oh, she's so insecure. Oh, look at her. She's getting so old. Oh, look at her that she's not sharp. Oh, she's so dumb. Oh, she's a charmer. There's so many lines every day, adjectives for women. Just stop listening to that nonsense and just be who you are. And that is the journey you have to make every day. Get up and make that journey, and you'll be so happy.
I love that. And I just genuinely love what you said. So, what do you think is more powerful, fame, money, or influence?
None of those. What is most powerful, if you'd asked me 3 years back, 4 years, 5 years back, I would have said influence.
Okay.
Today, I would say none. Fame, influence, money, everything is so temporary. Seeing it for 16 years. Some of the very famous people have disappeared. Some of the people with money are unhappiest.
Yeah.
And some of the people who one believed had influence could not do anything with that influence. So chasing after any of this, while it gives you some goals for few months, years, or whatever, these are all temporary. They don't last. Fame, money, and influence. What one has to look at is basic. What is it that is going to last?
So, what do you think is something about India that people have understood it completely wrong?
Many things. One, that about India, we say, oh, we are very value conscious people. We are very value conscious. Indians don't pay. I disagree to that. Indians, even in villages, people will pay for really genuinely good value stuff. Right? Where you perceive, oh, वो तो मतलब वो नहीं उतना pay कर पाएंगे. People pay, Indians pay when they find valuable value. So it's not that, oh, we are very conjuice people and we don't spend money. We spend money and we spend generously. Look at our marriages. Look at our marriages. Doesn't it belie that we are value conscious people? What happens in our marriages when we buy sarees? So that, I think, is one myth that we have all, it's like an urban myth, like everyone says, oh, we are very, very value conscious when it comes to money. So I don't think so. And the second thing is that we are not a land of snake charmers. We are not a land of elephants. We are not a land of all that. Today, India is the front runner when it comes to technology. And look at our DPI, our technology in the public infrastructure. Like, we are leading in the world. So all those, I think, are myths when it comes to setting standards when it comes to fintech, banking, to, the UPIs that we use, the DPIs, that I think we are leading in the world. And that's what India can show to the world. So every time, if there are any conversations, at least we can just say that, listen, here we are the front runners.
Right. So 10 years from now, where do you think India is going to be?
More confident, more assured, more hungry, more democratic, more equal, and young people who are coming up being more unapologetic and changing status quo for the country, for themselves, for the country. And my hope is that spiritually we regain what we have lost.
It's beautiful. One last question before we wind up. What is the one piece of advice you would offer for aspiring entrepreneurs and storytellers out there?
Very simple advice I have. It's worked for me. It's kept me going for so many years. Be very, very real. Be very authentic. Be very real. Don't bullshit. Don't fake. Don't think. Don't over engineer. We are storytellers. We are simple people. Look at storytelling. Where does it come from? It comes from, again, in history. Go back like 8,000 years BC में एक just to communicate. I don't know if you've studied this. Just to communicate between chimpanzees and all that, they used to draw.
Yes.
And tell stories. It was a very simple way of survival, simple way of communicating. It's very simple. And our grandmothers used to tell us stories. Or रात में कोई गाना गा देगा सोने से पहले. There is simplicity to it. The simpler it is, the more real it is, the more unfiltered it is. With time, that's the only thing that is going to work. We're done with so much of drama. We're done with so much of cosmetic. So I'll tell storytellers, just focus on that.
Shradha, thank you so much, because I really don't know if the world has seen this version of you being so grounded, so spiritual, and having so much depth in understanding why you do what you do and the clarity you have for the future. Thank you so much for doing this, Shradha. It was truly, truly a pleasure having this conversation with you.
So Gayathri, I don't say this easily because I just think I'm the best interviewer. And I listen to people very genuinely. You gave me that vibe. You gave me that strength. By listening to me, I knew you were attentively listening to me and you were with me in this conversation. And that emboldened me to be myself. And that's a superpower that you have. I really hope that your podcast grows and grows and you create more impact.
Means a lot for me when it is coming from you, Shradha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.